Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Stealing from the Future. Now today we are going to discuss some different topic. I have not spoken about this topic much in my episodes, maybe once maybe, but not in this manner. It's about the future of food. Now, what is the future of food? You must realize that meat and dairy are the two lab-grown food which is now in development. They're either made from animal cells or are fermented from microbes. Cellular agriculture is a term used for making or developing rather food in this manner. The scientists remove muscle stem cells called myosatellite cells from the animal and then develops it in a medium, in a lab setting, to make it into or develop it into a muscle tissue. Now later the muscle tissue is then molded, multiplied, fed and structured in a bioreactor to make the finished meat product or burger. Now, this might seem quite noble to most of us, but this concept of lab-grown meat has long since been considered as science reality rather than science fiction. Since 2001, NASA has fed their astronauts with in vitro meat while going for long spaceships or space trips rather. This concept of lab-grown meat dates back to 1941 when a person called Willem van Eelen patented this concept for the first time. Cellular agriculture, on the other hand, is a fermented version of fermentation from the microorganisms to make animal-free protein and dairy. It's a very recent concept. Companies are turning to bioengineered microorganisms like yeast to make casein and whey, the natural milk proteins that are there in dairy. After that, they are used to make milk and milk products. Now, what is the concept of 3D printed foods? Now, you must understand there is a distinction to be made between cultured meals and 3D printed foods. The latter, 3D printed foods, are made from lab-grown cells that are placed in magnetic 3D printers and then duplicated and made into muscle tissue or meat in various variety of shapes and sizes. In the International Space Station of 2018, cosmonauts executed a Star Trek-like experiment to produce 3D printed sticks made from cells obtained from a living cow. They demonstrated the fact that food, including meat, can be made in hard areas with limited water and soil. Now, this technique may be beneficial in the future for the protection of natural resources and food, and also for increased productivity. Now, how much will it set you back? Well, you must know that lab-grown meat will always be more expensive than normal meat, provided it is commercially viable. The first lab-grown burger, a 5-ounce beef patty produced on a petri dish, took almost 2 years to produce and cost $325,000. Well, it is not unusual because any new technology takes a lot of R&D, lot of research and development to produce, and hence it is expensive. The Lab grown meat, once it starts selling in bulk, then the prices come down. It is same with the plant-based burgers. It used to be available for $20 per burger, and once it started selling, now it is it was hard to come by then. Now it's roughly it sells at retail at $8 per pound. Once these agricultural produced meats, lab grown meat, is sold on mass scale, its pricing will be at par with normal steaks of meat produced from flesh. But the thing to be noted is the cultured medium, the medium for the cultured, from beef to be cultured, is the most expensive component. The raw material which is needed to be cultured is the main thing. What is it? Till now, there hasn't been any environmentally proven or commercially viable methods to it. But researchers did predict that in the future, raw materials from large-scale agricultural produce will be used as farmed meat inputs. It also implies, thus, that waste products will be converted into food. Is lab-grown food better for the environment? Meat and dairy industry actually accounts for 18% of the calorie consumption by humans. This is according to some large study published in 2018. And however, they themselves consume 83% of the world's acreage and generate 60% of greenhouse gas emissions. Industrial agriculture is a major source of world's pollution and water use. Land clearing due to agriculture affects animal habitat and can lead to its extinction. They are a serious threat. This agriculture is a serious threat to world biodiversity. Lab-grown food, on the other hand, might be more sustainable than industrial agriculture because of its potential to offer more growth in efficiency, because it does not produce manure, ammonia, methane and other waste materials. Now, how long will this technology last will only be determined by advancements in this process and technology, and how much energy will be utilized for its manufacture. Theoretically, the factories and the processes must run on clean energy, that is fermentation based soline from solar foods, which will reduce emissions by 40 to 80%. Will animal cruelty be reduced or completely eliminated? Well, you must know that each year 70 billion of land animals are slaughtered to feed the world's population. It has been known that factory farming treats its animals in an inhuman fashion. It consists of extreme harsh living conditions and finally slaughter. Cultivated meat produce, on the other hand, uses muscle stem cells from animals through a process to make the cultured meat. Even a single stem cell might be enough to yield enough muscle tissue to make 80,000 quarter pound of hamburger. So is cultivated meat process is a vegan process? Technically no, because it also necessitates the extraction of muscle tissue at one point or the other during the manufacturing process to make the cultured meat. Now this also brings to us another aspect, another ethical aspect into consideration. This cultivated meat production till now have heavily relied on fetal bovine serum. It's a fetal blood of the cow. It's been used as a medium for growing the cultured meat, raising several ethical questions. The fetus gets separated from its mother and bleeds to death when a pregnant cow is murdered. A pregnant cow is murdered just to extract that fetal blood, which helps as a medium to produce this cultured meat. The fetal blood is then purified and is transformed to fetal bovine serum, which helps in making the cultured meat. So it is, making it far from vegan friendly. However, as technology has advanced, companies have reverted to plant-based medium, which replaced this. But for the cultured meat technology to gain worldwide social acceptance, it must first be accepted. Is lab-grown meat healthier? Well, the muscle stem cells which is utilized to make the lab-grown meat does not have any fat cells. The producers can, independently manage the fat profiles because they have to add the fat profile to the farm meat afterwards. It is widely assumed that the cultured meat can have, one day it can be created with certain profile of, with a certain profile mix, which could lead to consumer health consequences. It may be better. This could lead to experimentation of the product mix of amino acid, vitamin, minerals, omega-3 fatty acids, etc. It could make it a better product with a better level of omega-3 fatty acid, better amino acids, less saturated fat. Still, all this is very hypothetical. This is very hypothetical. When people mess with nature, more often than not, they meet with worse surprises. Even with the best intentions, you might get the worst reply from nature. So, before creating such lab-grown meat products and exposing it to humankind, it is imperative that unbiased researchers do a comprehensive research of such product mix and then release it into the market. It is still felt, hopefully, that one day lab-grown meat may entail more health benefits than normal meat. Impact on agriculture and economy. Well, one of the most common and dominant arguments against the shift to cultured meat is that it can impact the businesses of normal farmers, workers, laborers working in the normal meat and dairy industry. It is in fact told, some claim, that the production of farm meat, cultured meat, can eventually wipe out the entire normal meat production and dairy production industry. Well, before we criticize and say no, it should not wipe out, let us see that globally people are actually living in a lifestyle in unsustainable sectors and practices. The global economy is reliant on unsustainable systems and practices. It is a need of the hour to shift to sustainable, more safer, more healthier, more sustainable planet. It is a need for the people. And in doing so, if tomorrow a solution comes, a discovery is made that actually alleviates people's lifestyle, people's way of living becomes more healthier, shouldn't it be a way to go process without leaving anyone out in the cold? Shouldn't it be a measure of the society? It will need a major shift in people's livelihoods and employment, but it is the need of the hour. Sustainable way of living. It helps people, it helps the world. Well, before we go to that, the proponents of the cultured meat technology has to answer a few questions. If that technology works out well, if it really is a success, then it can be said that they can create a lot of new jobs. And in doing so, maybe, just maybe, the laborers and the workers may be treated a bit better in this sustainable, systematic, cultured system than they are being treated right now in the unsustainable, unsystematic industry of farmed industry, the normal meat industry right now. Point to be noted.